For as great of a setting the Wild West is to set a video game in, there are surprisingly few examples. Besides the very popular Red Dead Redemption, the most well-known series of Western games would most likely be Call of Juarez, a franchise I have no experience with, except for one entry. Developed by Techland and published by Ubisoft in 2013, Call of Juarez Gunslinger is a standalone entry in this franchise, and apparently came to be when they wanted to liven up the series with a bit of style and pizzazz. While the previous games in the series took a more realistic approach, Gunslinger was made with the idea of focusing on the legends and myths of the time, and in a certain way, I think Techland successfully crafted a game that lets you feel like a legendary gunman. The game follows the story of Silas Greaves, a legendary bounty hunter, as he arrives in the town of Abilene. Stopping at a bar, he gets the attention of the locals who ask him to share some stories about his life. But in his own words, while he has lots of stories to tell, only a few of them are true, and so the game chronicles his many adventures of when he caught a fish that was this big. Each level will tell the tale of one of his exploits, usually involving him encountering a famous Western outlaw or historical figure. And these are real-life people too, like Billy the Kid or Butch Cassidy. The game will weave together historical fact and fiction, as Silas tells his own version of how things really happened. And the game keeps up this storytelling premise all the way, with Silas acting as the narrator and the bar patrons acting as commentators, asking questions as the story unfolds. Even the gameplay adds to this premise, as sometimes parts of the level will appear as part of the story, or aspects of the environment will change as Silas corrects himself. There's a lot of fun moments born from this framing narrative. It also acts to make the characters just a bit more memorable. Silas isn't just the guy you're playing as, but the guy narrating and commenting on everything you do. Through his dialogue, he's able to flesh himself out more into becoming a more well-rounded character. As he tells more stories, the people in the bar will start to question him more, as Silas gradually makes himself out to be a cowboy Forrest Gump, somehow being involved with every famous outlaw one way or another. They aren't complex characters, but their commentary adds a lot of charm. And to the game's credit, said commentary is also well voiced. For a game with a surprising amount of dialogue, I think it was delivered well. I would go so far as to say the sound in this game is very good, with the music straight out of a classic western, and it really puts you in the mood. But they really nail the sound effects as well. A western game just doesn't feel right without the sounds of gunfire or the bullets flying and ricocheting being just right. Graphically, Gunslinger goes for a cel-shaded comic book style, with its cutscenes looking straight out of a graphic novel, and its in-game graphics being very colorful. The aesthetic fits the game's tone, partway between being realistic and stylish in terms of design. This game has great presentation in all aspects. The gameplay, in comparison, could be seen as simple, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Gunslinger is pretty standard in terms of a first-person shooter. You'll find yourself running through levels with various guns, shooting whatever gets in your way. All the while, you'll find yourself gaining experience points based on whether or not you shoot people in the head or keep a combo going. These experience points will eventually add up to a level, granting you a skill point to invest in one of 3 trees. These trees basically revolve around the 3 main weapon types of the game, the revolvers, the rifle, and the shotgun, and by investing in them, you'll be able to greatly improve your abilities and unlock stronger versions of each weapon. The weapons themselves are pretty limited though. The revolvers are your standard weapon you'll basically always have, and are good for just about any situation. You are able to swap them out with a sawed-off shotgun, but I didn't find it useful in practice with just how good the revolvers are. This kinda goes for the second weapon slot too, as I found the rifle to be much better than the shotgun, as it's just more effective to take on your gun-wielding enemies from a ranged position where they can't hit you. I don't know, maybe that's just me. There is another tool in your arsenal in the form of dynamite, which you can throw to blow up a lot of enemies at once, and can prove very useful. Other than that, Gunslinger is more about improving what you have through your skills, rather than getting new stuff. That said, I think the shooting is very fun, helped a lot by the score aspect motivating you to play effectively. To help you, you also have your concentration mode, allowing you to slow down time and highlight enemies, as well as a bullet dodge mechanic, allowing you to save your life by matrix dodging a fatal bullet. At the end of each level, you'll find yourself having some kind of special encounter, facing off against a real historical figure. This can either take the form of a boss battle, or a duel, a kind of quick time event. This can be a nice change of pace that can really make you feel the tension of a showdown. These duels can take some getting used to at first, but they're not that bad, and there's not that many of them, mostly due to how short this game is. Gunslinger is easily beatable in a day, and it's kind of a shame with how fun it is. Having said that, There are things to do after you beat the campaign. You can go through it again in New Game Plus, carrying over your skills for another run, and you can also search for the collectible Nuggets of Truth, which give you real-life summaries of the people you encounter. Besides the campaign, there is also an arcade mode, where you can play levels trying for the highest score you can, and a boss rush mode of all the game's duels. While Gunslinger is a short experience and not that complex once you get down to it, it's pretty enjoyable due to its narrative, presentation, and fun gameplay. So if you're looking for a Wild West game, a game that plays around this narrative, or just a short fun experience, go try out Call of Juarez Gunslinger. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or comment. If you want to hear about more underappreciated games, subscribe to my channel for more content.